first graders. Mrs. DiBartolo here, ready to do a math lesson today. So I want you to grab your page that looks like this. It says penguins on ice ledges, and it has lots of pictures on penguins on the one side, and it has just 2 pictures of penguins on the other side. We're going to start with this side right here. As we're getting started with our math today, I want to remind you that this is a work time, a time to be doing your best work. We want you to try your best on these problems. Make sure that you have a nice space to work in. Grab a pencil, make sure your area is kind of quiet and free from distractions, and we'll walk through the work together, and then you can give it your best shot, and you can check it with your answer key that's included in your packet, so an adult can help you check and see if your work is correct, and then you're going to send it to your teacher so that they can see it. They want to see the hard work that you're doing. Today we have this as our target, as our goal. We're working to use pictures to help solve a math problem. So in this case, we're going to use lots of pictures of penguins because all of our problems are about penguins. So this part at the top, I'm just going to run you through these ones because these you can do fairly independently. So the directions say write an addition combination to tell how many penguins are standing on the ice ledges. So you're going to look and see how many penguins are there in the picture. You can look over here, and then you're going to write the numbers. So how many penguins are at the top, how many penguins are at the bottom, and then how many penguins all together. Let me point out something that I noticed that might help you with this part. In every picture, the row of penguins at the top is the same. They're always the same. And when I count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm noticing that each row of penguins at the top of all of these pictures is a 10. So I'm thinking about these penguins kind of like our Rec and Rec that we use at school with our beads. And if I know that the top row of penguins is always 10, that should make it much faster for me to look at how many penguins are there all together, because it's really quick for me to add 10 to a number. I know that I'm going to come up with a number that is 10 and some more, so it will probably be a teen number. So you can go ahead and go through all of your penguin problems here at the top and work on adding 10 plus however many more are at the bottom to find your totals. Then you can pause the video and come back and hear about these problems at the bottom. Welcome back. So these problems at the bottom, there's 2 here, and you're going to notice they sound kind of like a description of what's happening up here. And so I think your best plan here might be to draw a picture to show what's happening. So we're going to listen really carefully, and we'll do this one together, and then I'll let you do that one independently. We're going to listen carefully to those descriptions and see if we can draw a picture to match. Okay, so we'll start over here on the left. It says there were 10 penguins on the top ledge and 4 penguins on the bottom ledge. How many in all? 10 penguins on the top ledge and 4 penguins on the bottom ledge. Some of you friends are probably telling me right now, Mrs. DiBartolo, I don't need to draw a picture. I know that 10 plus 4 is, keep it a surprise, don't tell anyone. I know the answer. I know what 10 plus 4 is. And if you already know that, that's great. You can write that in that equation right there and be done. But some of us might want to see a picture of what's happening there. And so you, like me, might be wanting to draw a picture of some penguins. I started by drawing 10 penguins all in a row. Now you'll notice that I did not do my very best, took my time, all the details drawing of penguins. This is not the type of penguin drawing that I'm going to put on my wall. It's a quick math drawing. And I made sure that all 10 of them are in a row so that it matches the pictures that we have on our worksheet, because it's easy for me to tell that this whole row is 10. And so now I need to add some more. So I'm going to go back to the problem to see how many more I need. It says there were 10 penguins on the top ledge, check, and 4 penguins on the bottom ledge. So I need to draw 4 more. I've drawn 4 more penguins here. So now I have 10 on the top and 4 on the bottom. So here I can use some different strategies if I would like to add them together. If I would like to, I can count all of the penguins. I can count all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through, count all of them. That's one way. I could start with the bigger number 10, and I could hold it in my head and count on. So I would say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Or if I'm feeling pretty confident about 10 and 4 together, and I know how to add 10 and 4, 10 and 4 more makes 14, then I could just put them together in my head using what I know about tens. Okay? All of those methods should get me to the number 14 because I have 14 penguins. On your worksheet, you'll write 10 plus 4 more equals 14. Okay? Let me read you this next problem, and then you can try it yourself, whether that's by drawing a picture or doing it in your brain. There were 10 penguins on the top ledge and 8 penguins on the bottom ledge. How many in all? So you're going to write those numbers in here to make an equation that is true. You can pause, and when you're ready, we'll flip over and look at the back of our worksheet. Here's the back of our worksheet. So friends, this back part starts with the word challenge. And so I want you to think to yourself about how the front part of the worksheet went. I want you to be thinking about, was it kind of easy for me? Was I thinking, oh, I know how to do this and it's pretty quick? Was it a little bit tricky? Was I thinking, I might have to work a little bit harder to do this? Was it really tricky and I was thinking, oh, I was really having to work hard to put those numbers together? I want you to think about how that front side of the worksheet went for you and make some decisions with your grown-ups about whether the back side of this worksheet is a good challenge for you, if it's a great place for you to stretch yourself a little bit, or if it's maybe a little bit too much and you need to skip it today. So we're going to trust you to make that decision with your grown-up. And if you would like to continue, come on along. Let's do it. So it says, solve each of the problems below. Read the problem and look at the picture. Solve the problem. Use numbers, words, or pictures to show your thinking, and write the answer. Okay, so letter A says there were 16 penguins on the ice ledges. Some of them jumped into the water. How many penguins jumped into the water? This is a little tricky, friends. Remember, our goal today is to use pictures to help me solve a math problem, and you really have to use the picture in this one because the rest of the information for the problem is in the picture, okay? Because the problem only says there were 16 penguins on the ice ledges, and I don't see 16 penguins right now. I see 13, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this must be at the end after the penguins jumped into the water. So we might be thinking to ourselves, there were 16 penguins on the ice ledges. Some of them jumped into the water. How many penguins jumped into the water? So one way that I could solve this problem is to draw the penguins that are missing. I know that I don't have 16 altogether here, so I could draw some more penguins, count what I have so far, and draw a few more penguins until I get to 16 penguins. And then I would know that the penguins that I drew were the ones that jumped off into the water. Okay? Another way that you could solve this problem is by using a subtraction equation. So you might draw a subtraction equation that looks something like this. 16, which is how many penguins our story says we started with, minus a box, because we don't know how many jumped off. That's what we're trying to figure out, equals 13. I counted all of my penguins in my picture, and I saw 13 penguins who were left. So I might think about what is going to go in here to make this true. You can work on that problem and hit pause, take as much time as you need, and then come on back and we'll do the second one. Letter B. There were some penguins on the ice ledge. Some penguins. We don't know how many. 4 of them jumped into the water. How many penguins were on the ice ledges before the 4 jumped in? So one way to use the picture to help us solve this, we have to look to see how many penguins are there now. I can draw those 4 penguins who jumped in the water. I can draw 1, 2, 3, 4 extra penguins, and then I can count all the penguins who are there now to see how many were on the ice ledges before the 4 jumped in. We can also use an equation like we did in the last problem. My equation might look like this. Some number of penguins, this is however many were there before any of them jumped in, minus 4 penguins, those are the ones who jumped into the water, and then that equals 11 because that's how many penguins I see in the picture now. So trying to figure out what number minus 4 equals 11. Okay. Remember to take a picture of your work and send it to your teacher in whatever way your teacher is asking you to send it. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.